Hi, good morning. As you guys know, basically, like there's so many retrograde planets going on right now and have been this summer, which has made this summer a little bit difficult for a lot of people. But I do have good news, and the good news is that Venus is finally going direct this week. So that is going to take a huge load off all of us. Even though Venus is a benefic, which means it's a positive, softer planet, it still is incredibly difficult to deal with because it's one of our personal planets. And when you deal with personal planets, they really, really impact you. And in the case of Venus, it's going to impact, what you value. It's going to impact your money. It's going to impact your relationships. It impacts so much in the chart. And when it's going retrograde, things fall apart, but a lot of times it's because they needed to fall apart because retrograde is going backwards and bringing past issues to the forefront for us to deal with, address, get rid of, basically. So that is the good news. So we're going to start to, hopefully most of you guys are going to be starting to feel a little bit better this week in regards to that. Mercury is still going to be retrograde until about the 16th of September, but that happens 3 times a year, right? We're so used to that by now. Venus retrograde is a little bit different. It doesn't happen quite as often. It's about once 18 months, it'll start to go backwards. It'll start to go retrograde. But what I want to talk about today real briefly, and I do try to keep these relatively short just because I know if somebody talks too slow or whatever, I get bored, and I just try to make it as concise as possible so I don't get into a lot of details, is what's going on this week with Jupiter. And also I want to let you guys know that Uranus is also retrograde. It just went retrograde, and both Jupiter and Uranus are retrograde in the sign of Taurus. Now here's the deal. It takes 12 years for Jupiter to get around the zodiac. So Jupiter went into Taurus last May and will be in Taurus until May of 2024. So Jupiter's good. It's another benefic. It's positive. It's luck. It's abundance. It's love. All these great things. So the Taurus sun sign is going to be impacted, or the Taurus ascendant. We're all going to be impacted because we all have Taurus somewhere, but they're really going to be impacted by this. I don't think anybody's really had an opportunity to enjoy this transit with Jupiter because of, Venus being retrograde and Mercury being retrograde and everything else. But now is the time to start enjoying this, okay? Now doors are going to start to be open. The fact that Jupiter is going retrograde is not a negative thing. It's going to kind of give us a little bit of we're going to go back a little because Jupiter's so nice anyhow. It's just nice. Whatever house it's falling into in your particular chart, it's going to be okay, let's go back a couple months, whatever, revisit this, redo it. Opportunities from the past may come back, new opportunities. And that's the key word. People think Jupiter's about luck. It is, but it's more about opportunities and whether or not you take those opportunities. With Uranus, and I talked about Uranus in my last video, so that's also going retrograde in Taurus, all right? So Uranus is all those sudden, unexpected things. So they're sitting in the same house right now, basically. And that is, you can think of it like sudden opportunities. And it depends on the houses. These are outer planets, Jupiter and Uranus. They're not like our personal planets, like the Venus, Mars, Mercury, that kind of thing. But they still impact us according to the house. And this is why somebody said, don't get so into complicated with these astrology videos, but I can't kind of help it because it's just important to know the houses. So I'll give you a little example. Let's say you are an Aries rising, okay? I'm not talking about sun sign, I'm talking about your ascendant. Taurus is going to be naturally in your second house. So that's where Jupiter's transiting. So what does this mean for you? Well, what does the second house rule? Second house rules your money, your finances, what you value. Uranus is there too. So expect sudden opportunities with finances, maybe jobs, maybe sudden money. I don't know, maybe play the lottery. But money is the theme there. Okay, so if you're a Taurus ascendant, again, I'm talking about Western tropical astrology right now, not sidereal Vedic astrology. If you're a Taurus ascendant, you're basically like, it's right on your first house. It's right on your ascendant. You want to probably watch out for over extravagance or overdoing things, because sometimes Jupiter does that and Taurus has a tendency towards that anyways. But on the positive, like, this is a kind of an opportunity to, you know, just new opportunities to reinvent yourself, to change the way your physical appearance, if you're not feeling good or whatever. Like, this is Jupiter. It's abundance. It's luck. It's all things good. If you are a Gemini ascendant, for those of you guys who are a Gemini ascendant, and you can look at like what I'm not all fancy or anything, you know what I mean? But this is what the chart wheel looks like. So if you have Gemini here, you know, rising in your first house, then you're going to have Taurus in your 12th house. And that's the house of psychic ability and secrets. And I mean, it can be the house of self-undoing, but Jupiter, there's protection, right? Because Jupiter's always protection. So that's going to like heighten your dreams and heighten your intuition and everything else. So, and it goes around the zodiac that way. So we are coming out of a negative, well, I feel like we're coming out of a little bit of a restrictive cycle with Venus being retrograde. And like I said, Jupiter is in Taurus all the way until next May of 2024. So you guys have some time with this, so don't be scared of this particular retrograde, because it is more of a positive retrograde, considering we're dealing with the very prosperous planet of Jupiter. And don't forget also, guys, Jupiter is the teacher of the zodiac, okay? So it's teaching us lessons, and that sounds scary too, but no, it's teaching us to value ourselves, to determine what we want, and, you know, to really kind of take risks, and it rules travel. So some of you guys, depending on your ascendant or your moon, will be traveling more this year. So again, I'm not going to go through every single sign, but I do want you to kind of get an idea of what to expect, and that this is a pretty positive transit. So I will see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.